Good morning, everyone. Today is March 16th, 2020, and here is today's Monday Morning Minute. It will be a brief one today. We will simply recap last week's activity, thinking about the Classroom Culture Toolkit and the self-directed reading that you all did, and then we'll talk very briefly about this week's assignment, which is essentially just continue working on that Classroom Culture Toolkit. Take this time to really dive in deep, to put together some resources, so that it can be ready to go by its deadline, which is March 29th. So I was so excited to read about your progress this week, Caitlin and Doug. I think you've both chosen really interesting ideas, and my hope, again, with this whole Classroom Culture Toolkit is that it's something that will be useful to you, just to enhance your own learning and practice, but then also potentially something to share with other folks, perhaps colleagues at your school site, perhaps new teachers or pre-service teachers you're working with or mentoring. My hope is that it can kind of live beyond this one assignment. So Caitlin, I love this particular part of your response from last week. You wrote, "Education goes round and round in circles all the time about the best way to educate or even the best way to arrange your classroom. However, as I thought of this project, there is something that will never change, and that is the importance of teacher-student relationships. These relationships will always be the core of a classroom environment, and I want to make sure I have as much knowledge as I can in this area." Excellent. Yes. Sort of the good and bad of social science research is that, obviously I think we might agree that it's good to continue to study classroom environments. And so, part of the reason why we have all of these different mandates or we hear different research is because just more research is being done. And so methods that we thought were effective, perhaps are less effective in light of new information, right? And I think it's good that our field is continually working to ensure that our teaching is as strong as it can possibly be. But the downside is that as teachers, as classroom teachers, right, every new year brings with it a slew of new things that everybody has to do immediately, which is totally different than what you had to do the previous year, and that can be super frustrating. So Caitlin, I think that your idea to focus on teacher-student relationships is really important, and makes a lot of practical sense. So good luck with that. I'm excited to see what you put together. And Doug, I'm just going to read from your particular critical response number 7. You wrote, "I am looking at student motivation in the classroom with a focus on the gifted student population. My gifted students are the makers and the doers that find the difficulties in the lab as challenges to be overcome directly related to an end goal. An example is using trigonometry or other mathematical tools to help solve a building problem." Yeah, how cool when math comes to life, right? When you actually need these tools in service of a goal that is meaningful. Doug, I wrote some feedback on your post within the discussion thread, but I'm really interested in your definition of gifted. I think you're using it in a really interesting and unique way that that people most often don't use it in. So I think that's really cool, and you're looking at your population of students and looking at the gifted ones, the ones who perhaps show some grit, some resilience, some persistence in the face of some challenges. So wonderful job, both of you. Again, I am very genuinely looking forward to reviewing your your classroom culture toolkits. And please let me know if you have any questions, if you encounter any stumbling blocks, etc. For this week, as I mentioned, just please continue working on that toolkit. Let me know if there are any parts of that, I guess, that could deserve further clarification in the assignment description itself. And please stay safe out there, everyone. Take care of yourselves, take care of your loved ones, and I'll see you back here in a couple Mondays. Cheers.